What's up, guys? Coach Gaglione here. This is another edition of the Climb 185 series. I'm your host, Coach Gaglione, and I've been involved with powerlifting and strength coaching for over 19 years. So this is game day. This is at Southside Barbell, and one of kind of the question marks kind of going into the event was going to be the platform. And as you can kind of see here, it may not be apparent, with my wife on the platform, but you'll kind of see like when I get on there. It was quite narrow. You can kind of see it's more of like a triangle shape versus a typical kind of square, kind of rectangle shape. But here is kind of our warm-up. So we're kind of warming up together with the group. We got Angelina, my wife Katie, and then this is Seth. And then you'll kind of see Charlie and some others, and then Lewis later on. So you can kind of see here, we're kind of all kind of working together on the same platform, and we're all kind of starting off with the empty barbell. And if you are getting ready for whether it be a strict curl competition or a powerlifting meet, typically you'll have time for around kind of 5 warm-ups or so. That's a kind of a pretty good place to start. And typically kind of what we'll do if we are at a meet, Team Gaglione Strength, we will, usually kind of take control of a monolift. We'll take control of a combo rack, competition bench, whatever the case may be. And we'll try to do our best to kind of just work with everybody and just kind of keep the flow going and try to start with the people that are opening lighter in the flight and then kind of finishing off with the people that are heavier in the flight. Another kind of thing that's kind of good etiquette when you're at a meet, if you're at a meet that has multiple flights, let's say you're in the second flight, you'll start when flight A. If you're in flight B, you'll start when flight A is kind of competing. If you're in flight C, you'll start when flight B is competing, and so on and so forth. That's kind of helps. So you can kind of see here, I'm just going through a little bit of a complex, going, pull, pause, then doing a couple of just kind of regular reps. And, one of the things that, again, I wanted to kind of make sure that I was kind of getting my footing right. Again, for me, it was quite a bit low. So again, we're kind of getting into order here. Another kind of thing to note with my wife Katie, this was kind of her lowest kind of weigh-in. I don't know if ever in a competition. I think she even said that might have been even lower weight than one of her like kind of bodybuilding shows. But she weighed in at 150 pounds on this particular day. So just shy of the 148 weight class. The cutoff for 148 is 148.8. So I know that her plan is to kind of compete in the 140s, and this was kind of just to kind of establish a kind of a baseline for her and kind of a fun meet. Again, she wasn't like super peaked for this, but again, we wanted to kind of have some fun with Seth and Angelina, kind of have a little bit of a couples challenge, if you will, and kind of see who can collectively kind of curl the most. So. And like I said, we're kind of warming up here, just kind of slowly kind of ramping up. Angelina wasn't feeling the best on this particular day, so she kind of opened light as well. But I knew her and my wife were going to be pretty kind of neck and neck as far as what their capabilities are. But if you're not familiar with Angelina, she's a very accomplished power lifter. Never like kind of any all-time records or anything like that, but she's done really well. She's definitely top ranked all time. I believe in the 123s and potentially also in the 132s. Like I said, I don't have her kind of results in front of me, but she's done really, really well for herself. I believe totaling over 1,000 pounds on several occasions. So you can definitely check her out on open powerlifting. And I know Seth's done some powerlifting. I think Seth has like a 1,500 pound total to his credit, and he also kind of dabbles in arm wrestling and bodybuilding and all those sorts of things. So. This is 75 pounds on the bar for me. This is typically what I'll do. I'll take the bar and then I'll kind of take a quarter. And at this point, I just wanted to really kind of dial in my setup. The other thing, the hugs were kind of far away, which wasn't as too concerned with. I was more concerned with getting my footing right on the platform. So I elected to do 2 cluster reps versus just usually a double. I wanted to really kind of work on the pick. And this is Charlie. He's based out of Staten Island. He's a junior lifter, kind of getting started. I also believe he's got some experience arm wrestling as well. That's good. So you can kind of see here, he's still kind of figuring the technique out, trying to figure out like how to use a shrug and those sorts of things. So you kind of see sometimes if you're at a meet, it's kind of best to kind of stay in your lane, not really change anything too major. in the case of a contest, unless there's going to be something where you're going to miss a lift or you're going to get injured. But the game day is not the time to really kind of alter your technique too much, if at all. Just really kind of get used to the competition equipment, get used to the platforms. The good thing, the really kind of positive on this particular day is we got to kind of warm up on the platform. That is not always the case. Sometimes, especially in strict curl meets, it's happening less and less in powerlifting, but sometimes you won't get the exact same brand competition bench, you won't get the exact same brand monolift, and there are kind of some slight differences maybe in the height or kind of the fit, just kind of like how it works. So if you are ever able to kind of warm up on the platform equipment or the exact same equipment, that's always kind of preferred, using the same barbell, those sorts of things. So you can kind of see Angelina's kind of electing to take a closer stance, and she's not really using the heels quite to her advantage here. So basically I try to get my heels as close to like over the line as possible while still staying legal, just to give myself a little bit more leverage. You want to start with the collars didn't have. So this was kind of like another kind of issue potentially with me. I was kind of helping everyone, and I guess sometimes it kind of takes the focus away from yourself. But so there wasn't any collars on the bar, but I guess I wasn't too worried with, that was 115 pounds. So that's typically like my next warm up, and then we're gonna go for them. So everyone was kind of like helping each other, as you could see. And again, it wasn't really like a place to kind of rack the plates and those sorts of things. So, we did our best to figure that out and kind of work together. And then again, we were trying to kind of time the warm-ups. Effectively, we weren't sure like kind of how long. It wasn't like a set kind of platform change or anything like that. So trying to kind of time the warm-ups effectively. Kind of make sure that we were kind of just kind of getting ready at the right time. Again, timing is important. So, typically, depending on the federation, there might be like especially if it's like a combo rack, it might be like a 5-minute, upwards of a 10-minute break into your events. And then some events, usually monolift meets might be a little bit longer. It might be upwards of like 10 to 20 minutes. But it's good to communicate with the meet director, communicate with the scoring table to kind of make sure you kind of know when your flight's going to start, so you can kind of time your warm-ups accordingly. So this is 75 pounds. This is my wife's second to last warm-up. Usually, like at this point, you can kind of see if it's going to be kind of a good day or not. So that moved pretty smooth, but I know that, again, she wasn't feeling her best. So that was good. So I knew that at least she was going to be good for like, mid-90s to upwards of 100 pounds at this point. This is 135 pounds. I can remember at this point this did not feel great for whatever reason. But again, I was just kind of getting used to the bar, kind of just getting used to the environment, and just trying to get my footing and my pick kind of really dialed in, just trying to get used to the platform. Again, it was a long pick and it was a narrow platform. But in terms of, you can kind of just see this like a little just hiccup in the transition if you have, but ultimately, we kind of got it done. So I believe this might have been Angelina's last warm-up. She elected to kind of open light. She kind of wasn't feeling kind of her best. I guess it lasted like 2 weeks. She got sick, wasn't, at her strongest. This is 85 pounds. This is Katie's last warm-up. You can kind of see that was a little bit of a hiccup here. And again, so as far as like getting the bar as high as that, she really needs it to be. But again, the smooth curl nonetheless, she was ready for the day. And I believe this is Charlie's last warm-up of 100 pounds. One of the things that he was having trouble with on this day was keeping his back in contact with the board. But, and then myself and Seth kind of did our last warm-up on the platform. I believe this was 100 pounds as well. It's a cool setup, cool gym. I also got to meet John Rivas, and John Rivas was a former all-time record holder in the 242 weight class, and he was actually the record that myself and, notably Larry Wheels was chasing down. That was the first record that Larry broke. It was later rebroken moments later by Andrew Herbert. And then Larry was able to kind of take the record back. with, I believe, a 21.71 total at the Reebok. I believe it was Reebok or Slingshot record breakers at the time on the old Jesse Burdick. So it was kind of cool. Always good to see like an old head, if you will. And he's been doing really well in bodybuilding. And again, it was just great to have the support. He was kind of cheering. He was like front row and center. So this is 155 pounds. This is typically like a last warm-up weight for me. And that did not feel the best. Again, I think I was just kind of like, again, getting a little bit just out of sorts with, just kind of helping everyone else and that sort of thing. So this is Angelina's opener.
Got 70 pounds on the bar.
I can't quite tell what's on the bar, but it's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 pounds, something of that nature. Very smooth for her. Again, she kind of just opened nice and light. This will be this is Katie's first attempt. This is a 90-pound curl. So this is kind of a good starting weight for her. Again, a little bit lighter than she's kind of opened with in the past, but in the past meet, but again, still a good set for her. So you can kind of see she's starting to kind of favor one side. Her shoulder's been bothering her, but moved pretty well nonetheless. So you like to go up 5 pounds on this particular day. I'm not sure if this is Seth or Charlie, but you kind of see some of the. Okay, this is my set. I guess I didn't film every single attempt. I tried to get some of the other competitors. So this is 165 pounds. Another kind of thing, and it is what it is. I'm not sure if these plates were calibrated or not. If it is what it is, usually you use kilos or usually use calibrated plates. So sometimes these steel plates can be a little bit heavier. So I wasn't exactly sure what it weighed, but again, if the weights were calibrated, this is 165 pounds. So obviously having the plates be off a little bit can be a factor, but again, this was kind of like the hand we were dealt. Everyone else was using the same plates, so again, not exactly sure if the weights were a little bit off. That could have definitely been a factor. I was very happy with how this moved. That was much better than the last warm-up series. That was 165 pounds. Definitely need to... one of the things I kind of realized earlier, I need to kind of practice better start command. So this is, I believe, 85 pounds for Angelina. So again, she was still kind of just on one half and just kind of feeling out the weights.
Come on, Angelina.
And very strong curl. She does a good job of keeping the bar close to her body. Still kind of learning the technique, but again, very, very strong.
Bar is loaded for Katie.
Yeah, so that was either 85 or 95 pounds. Couldn't quite. It's hard to tell what the weights are. And then we kind of record them. This is 95 pounds. You'll kind of see it again. My wife was having some issues on this day.
Let's go, Katie.
But this is, she weighed in as a light 165 at 150 pounds. She was able to kind of save it, almost went down, but just a little bit of bobble there, good enough to get some white lights for credit for the lift. So that was a 365 strong record for the particular day. It looks like this is either 120 or 125 pounds for Seth. I think they weren't also sure. Like typically I like to take smaller jumps. I know some of the other athletes just didn't have as much experience. But again, a smooth curl for Seth. I believe this is 125 pounds for Charlie, which was the junior 365 record for his division. And I believe this was a clean curl for him, pretty smooth. So he got some white lights there, good enough for credit for that particular lift. This is Lewis. He just finished benching, so this was like a little bit of a tough time for him. But again, he was doing the best he could. So this is 175 pounds. This is going to be a really important lift for me. Not an all-time PR, but this is 5 pounds more than I did in my tune-up meet, which was in February. So this was going to be a critical lift. Again, I was kind of getting used to the start command, getting used to the platform, getting used to the longer pick. But overall, I was very happy. So I was pretty confident going into this lift. I was very focused, very dialed in. And as you could see, super smooth. A little bit of slowing down the lockout, but I was very happy with how it felt. Pretty fired up there, so that was a good lift. Okay, and then we're going back down to, I think this is Katie's final attempt. And the other thing that, again, there was only 6 lifters in this flight, so it was kind of moving pretty fast. So I think we were all a little bit kind of under-recovered at this point. So you could kind of see just, you couldn't quite recover like with that twist there. And again, with that, I don't know if it even would have counted with that much. Like I said, the bar started to kind of dip down. Still gracious in defeat, shaking the judge's hands. Miss Angelina missed, and I think Charlie is next. But this is a PR attempt for Seth. They believe this is 140 pounds.
Let's go! Come on. Yeah.
Good job staying with it. Nice, smooth, slow but smooth. And this is Charlie's attempt, and like I said, no shade here, but I did see his back kind of come up a little bit of a sloppy pick, but he was able to get credit for this lift. So this, I believe, was 140 pounds as well,
Let's go!
which I'm not sure if it was a PR, and then kind of like Lewis kind of got a little set up between my wife and Lewis, so
Let's give him a round of
kind of
applause.
momentum started to get kind of killed there. And I believe that attempt would have put Lewis over Charlie for the win. I believe that Charlie was also, I think they both were in the 90 kilo category. So anyways, I elected to go up to 181 pounds, which is an all-time PR. And not that I was kind of like looking past this, but you know, I had my sights at 185. Obviously, I didn't take that as a 4th attempt because that would have been a 365 world record. This is a 365 strong submasters record, but I don't really care about a submasters record, to be honest, but I just wanted to kind of have a crack. But I just wanted to hit a small PR first, so I kind of elected to go 181. And we'll kind of see how this goes. So good pick, good setup. I mean, torched out of the bottom, but just kind of a little bit forward. Couldn't quite finish it, but I'm pretty happy with that. I think, again, with the platform, again, always kind of be gracious in defeat. And you'll kind of see here, there's a couple other 4th attempts, but yeah, so I kind of failed, but again, between the platform, the non-calibrated plates, helping the other people, those sorts of things. So Angelina took a little bit of a swing at 115.
Come on, Angelina,
But overall, I was very happy with how I did. I got some good training momentum behind me, so kind of moving forward, there'll be another episode in terms of, you know, my weight loss, what's kind of next, but I'm still going to be kind of working toward that 185 mark, and then we'll kind of go from there. So definitely, guys, if you guys are interested and you want to support the channel, check out the links in the description. I appreciate everyone watching. Again, if you like this series, please comment, please share, please subscribe. It does help us out a lot. I appreciate everyone watching. And again, you guys could watch Charlie's last lift. And again, a lot of people started to kind of like, you know, just kind of, but it was a lot of fun. You know, we did collectively curl 270 pounds between myself and Katie. And then Seth and Angelina collectively curled 140 pounds. So we had a lot of fun on this particular day. Definitely would check out Southside Gym. I definitely would enjoy the 365 meet. It ran smooth. And I really appreciate everyone kind of, you know, supporting throughout the day and throughout the prep. So thank you guys so much. Till next time, stay strong. See you soon.